I used to be able to read a book a day, and then I grew up. And that has only happened once since I've been an adult. And that was with Hello and welcome back. Like I was mentioning in the intro, I haven't been able to read a book in one day since probably 2020 or 2021. And it has been probably one of the few, if not the only time I've been able to do that since I pretty much turned into an adult. Obviously, life has gotten in the way and responsibilities and my concentration, the ADHD has gotten worse and so on and so forth. So it's been really, really hard for me to concentrate in reading unless I super extra mega hyper focus or hyper fixate in a book. And even then, it's really hard. Last time I was able to do it that I can remember was reading One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. And that was actually the book that got me back into reading as a whole. I had been a huge bookworm when I was little, but I didn't have an extensive amount of books. I feel like when I was growing up, I would get a book here and there and I would devour the book and then not have a book until who knows when. But ever since I moved out of home and I came to a new city and I discovered thrifting and also managed to have a Barnes & Noble close to me because back home Barnes & Noble does not exist, I have become a bookworm. However, my main format for devouring books, I should say, is audiobooks, and I get them from my library. But I continue to accumulate an enormous amount of physical books, and I just love the experience of holding the book in my hands and reading it. So it's so frustrating when I sit down and I can't read it. Like I can't concentrate, I can't read too much. Also, I do go to the library a lot and I get books from the library very often. I bring them home. I don't actually read them, so they just sit there and then I take them back. So today's goal is to maybe not finish, but at least make a good progress on The Invisible Life of Addie Larue. Now, I got The Invisible Life of Addie Larue in Spanish because ever since I read El Invencible Verano de Liliana, I've been craving reading in Spanish. And I had already, when I went to PR in 2022, I think, or 2023, 2022, I don't know. Whenever it was that we went back to Puerto Rico for vacation and for a friend's wedding, I bought These Hollow Vows in Spanish. Couldn't get through it. I think I've talked about this before. I couldn't get through it because of the language that was used for the translation. But I found this at the library and that translation is good. And so I've been wanting to incorporate more books in Spanish because I feel like the more I read in English, the more I'm kind of losing my native language. And I don't want that to happen. And also I think, obviously, because Spanish is my native language, it becomes sort of easier and I guess softer on my brain for me to read the words. And it's easy for me to go faster because, well, it's my native language. So today's goal, like I said, is going to be making good progress in this one. Now, I have not started this at all. It's been sitting on my bedside table. And I hadn't started it because I kept either starting other books that I own or because I was reading other books, I didn't want to get another one on the list. Now, I am reading The Assistant to a Villain physically, and I am reading Powerless as a Kindle book. So, and I just finished These Twisted Bonds, I think yesterday or like 2 days ago. That was my audiobook. Now, I do have, I don't even know. I'm reading some other, I think I'm listening to something else. I think it's like a Tessa Bailey book or something. It's a romance. I know I'm listening to a romance. But I can listen to those really quickly and they just go by. And, you know, I listen to them when I'm doing other stuff. So, because I'm off from work today, thank goodness, that's what I want to do. I want to focus on this book. I already sat here. I'm on the floor in my office. Like you can see, it's a different angle. And I have my cozy blanket right here. My very nice IKEA sofa, not sponsored, obviously. And, well, I guess reading chair. It's more of a reading chair, not a sofa. So I am going to probably spend all day here. I do have some editing to do because I do have a project coming soon. And I have to see how the recordings went because I recorded like at 1 in the morning or something from like midnight to like 4 in the morning. So those are gonna be fun to listen to. But yeah, I do want to do that later, and I am going to be meeting up with a friend later also tonight. But for the most part, I want to at least start my day making progress on this book and hopefully read as much as possible. Do I want to read the entire thing in one day? Yes, but I don't know if that's gonna be possible. And you know, it doesn't have to be just today, but maybe like today and tomorrow or something like that. Like I remember reading entire books within a 24-hour frame. Now, granted, they were YA books, and YA books are so much easier to get through because the language is easier, the stories are less complex, you know, they flow. I feel like YA books flow a little better, but more adult like books, especially fantasy, which is one of my most difficult genres, it takes more time for me. So I'm hoping that the Spanish in this is going to balance out the fact that it's a fantasy and it's like an adult novel instead of YA, I think, right? This is an adult novel. I think it is. So anyway, I am going to dive into this book and I will be making updates here and there, but I might also not record so much of it just because I know that while I'm recording, I get distracted. And so maybe I won't record that much, or maybe I will, because I know that because I'm recording, I won't be touching my phone to look at social media, which is the thing that distracts me the most. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to start diving into this. I have a postcard from La Coca Falls, El Yunque National Forest in Puerto Rico. And this is weird because I bought this here where I live in the US, not in the island, which was, honestly, it felt really nice to find something from home here. But yeah, this is going to be my bookmark today. And there is my cup with all my bookmarks. And I grabbed this because it was close to me, because I didn't want to go like this and grab one from there. We're not going to talk about it. So anyway, I'm going to dive into this. I think it's like 9 a.m. or something. So let's see how this goes. I just finished the first chapter and I knew this novel was going to be sad. I didn't realize how much. That first chapter, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm feeling right now. It was like a defeating feeling. Like, oh, something bad is happening and you just can't do anything about it. Like at this point, I feel like, even though it's the first chapter, Addie has come to accept, I guess, whatever happened to her and how things are going to play out. She already knows how things are going to play out. So she just has accepted it. And just the way that last line of this first chapter was like, ouch, you know. I do have to say that I am still tired, as in not because of the book, but I woke up and I wanted to continue sleeping. So now I'm reading and I'm like, ugh, like I want to go to bed. So I might pause, take a nap, and then return. But I know that's going to take time away from my reading. But if I'm tired, I'm not going to be able to read anyway. So we'll see. I managed to finish chapter 3. 3 hours ago. And I was so exhausted that I just could not continue reading. My eyes were closing. So I took a fat nap. And now that it's been 3 hours, now I'm going to continue. So I am going to read chapter 4 now. Also, look at my shirt. It's a SpongeBob meme. I got this shirt for a twin day at work. And I just think it's the most hilarious thing I owned, to be honest. It says, well, I'ma head out. And it's SpongeBob. Okay, back to reading. It is now 2:48 p.m. or something, and I've read this much. I am on page 43, I think, which is not how much I thought I would have read by now, you know. I did start reading this like at 9 in the morning, but then I took a nap and I took another break to go eat lunch and I folded clothes. So I've been doing like house chores at the same time. I guess I didn't really think about the fact that I had a lot of stuff to do today. So I need to fix my expectations for this and maybe not pressure myself into trying to finish this by tomorrow. I do have to work tomorrow. I work the day after as well. So this is probably going to be more of a week-long adventure, I guess. I am going to try and read as much as possible, because the other thing was that I also did not take into consideration the fact that I planned for today and I'm meeting a friend and I'm doing all these things. So I already had like an itinerary going on, and then I decided to grab a huge book, even though I am reading other books that are also huge, which is another thing. But I have not touched any of my other books because this book is today's main focus. I was expecting that by this time, or maybe like by 5-ish p.m., I would have been maybe halfway through the book. But that is not gonna happen. I don't think I am as fast a reader as I used to be. And like I was mentioning in the beginning, these books are more complex. They have more words. They're more difficult vocabulary or something. Whereas YA books are just very easy to read, very easy to get through. So that's why I could get through them really quickly. I am still going to continue reading this, see if I can finish it. I did renew the loan from the library because it is from the library. So I do have it until August 23rd, I think. And I think today is like July 26th or something. So I have a whole month pretty much with it. But I don't want to take a month because I do have a couple other books that I got from the library. And I do want to go get more. Granted, I do have like 260 books that I own that I need to read. So I just need to get through this. So we'll see. We'll see how much time it takes for me to get through this book. And we'll see how much I can get read today. I at least think I finished everything that I needed to do. So the only interruption I think I'm gonna have next is going to be starting to get ready so that I can leave. I do have maybe like 2 or 3 hours more to go. So yeah, I'm gonna stop talking and I am going to continue reading this. So I'll be back. Please ignore my hair. It got really hot and I tied it and now it's looking terrible. But anyway, I made it to page 81, I think, and I'm going to have to call it a day for now for the reading because it's time to get ready and go. So I am not sure if I'm going to continue this vlog throughout different days or if I'm just going to divide it into different days. So if you see anything else after this clip, then that means that I am continuing it. Otherwise, well, this might be the end of today's attempt of reading The Invisible Life of Addie Larue. So I made it almost to the 100-page mark. First day of trying to read it. Let's see how long it takes me to read the remainder of it.